and welcome to the Irked Podcast. This week we are talking about weird sayings. You're listening to Zach.
And Michael.
And I've got one thing we can start off with, Michael. I'm getting my list up here. Weird things people say. So, have you heard this? If a tree falls when no one's around, does it still make a sound?
I have heard that before, and my answer is assertively yes.
Yes! Right, what irks me about this is people seem to lack a basic understanding of physics.
I think it's more the philosophical side of things that people disagree on. They're saying nobody's there to hear it, so does the tree falling have meaning?
Is that what it means? Is it supposed to be philosophical?
It's more of a philosophical question than a literal question, because everyone knows, even if no one's there to hear it, it makes a sound.
Well,
of course.
You would think so.
I think it's more, if no one's there to observe something, is the meaning of it happening lost?
I have never looked at it that way. I've always only ever thought it's been a literal question.
Well, it's like, is someone's bedroom still their bedroom when they're not in it?
Well, presumably the bed is still in the room, and
Yes.
it still belongs to that person.
But does it have... Is it
But it
their
loses the meaning
bedroom
of being a
when they're
bedroom
not
because
in
they're
it?
not sleeping in it at that moment in time. Is that what you're
Exactly.
saying? You are blowing my mind. I genuinely have never thought of it that way before.
We'll have to have a philosophical debate next week. To debate.
Philosophical debate.
To debate.
Okay, we'll have one of those. We'll have
Yeah,
one
we
of
should
those. Did you have anything in particular that, in terms of weird sayings? Or...
One thing I found weird, Bob's your uncle.
Oh my goodness. Do carry on.
Now, Bob's your uncle is a thing I've said many times. I've
Yep.
heard it a lot. Never knew where it came from. And when
Okay.
you think about it, you just go, Bob's your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I found out. I had a look. There was a Victorian Prime Minister.
Did you write this down?
I did. I have a little list of facts.
Some great research.
So, Victorian Prime Minister Lord Salisbury.
Okay.
I think so. He appointed his nephew, Mr. Arthur Balfour, as Chief Secretary for Ireland.
Wow.
And he was not remotely qualified. So, his uncle Bob gave him the job, and that was the entire reason he had the job. So how did you get that job? Well, Bob's your uncle. Simple as
Oh.
that.
Really?
Yeah.
And
So that's where the term comes from.
That actually is the true origin
That
story of the
actu-
phrase.
Like, as far as my Google research went, that was true.
Why are you so interesting?
Whether or not that can be backed up, I
That's
suppose
crazy.
depends on Wikipedia's credibility.
I hate that Bob's your uncle. Like, people say it now, as if they. Well, I don't know. I don't know why they say it.
Exactly.
Bob's your uncle. No,
People
he's
say
not.
it all the time.
I don't have an uncle named Bob, and yet
No.
people have said that to me.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Phrases that they're used, but they have no meaning.
No.
Do you, like, for example, I don't know where this comes from. It'd be interesting to find out the origin of this phrase. Talk the hind legs off a donkey.
Yes. I do know
Come
a few
on.
people who could do that.
Well, granted, given the opportunity to speak with a donkey, I would certainly love to give this a go, but I'm 101% certain that no matter how long I talk to this donkey, its hind legs are going to stay firmly.
And I mean, if you could talk the hind legs off a donkey, isn't that donkey abuse? I don't think that's something anyone should do.
I'm quite sure there are laws against it.
Yeah, and I mean, when it said talk the hind legs off a donkey, does that mean they like gradually just kind of wither and fall off, or is it literally after a certain amount of words they just
How
gone?
many? Pop goes the donkey.
Pop goes the donkey legs.
Catchphrase of the day. What kind of how many words do you think would need to be spoken before the hind legs actually fall off a donkey?
I don't know.
Literally.
I really don't.
Speaking of literally, sometimes and some people we know will use the phrase or the word literally
Hmm.
as if what they're saying cannot be taken any other way, or
Exactly.
could be taken another way than
Yes.
literally.
Not hypothetically or figuratively.
He literally shut the door in my face.
Mm.
Well, he didn't. He didn't do it figuratively.
Context is everything.
Yeah, yeah, because clearly he shut the door in your face.
You clearly did.
Who knows why? But it wasn't anything other than literal. Why do we need to? Why do we need to point out that it was literal? Literally. I am not kidding. Wow. I thought you meant hypothetically shut the door on your face.
That really gets my goat.
Oh. I don't know how I haven't written that one down. Gets my goat.
Do you know where that comes from?
Oh,
Getting someone's goat?
No.
Now, again, this comes down to some, mildly thorough internet research.
Okay.
To get someone's goat, in 19th century, nervous racehorses would have a goat as a friend. And apparently goats are quite chill animals. I didn't think so. Apparently they're quite chill, they're quite calm, they're happy to just hang around with a horse, have a
Okay.
chat. And so horses chilled out around them, and they would pair a horse with a goat, and that would just be its friend. And so when they went to races and things, they'd take the goat with them, just a bit of emotional support.
Okay.
And to get someone's goat was rival race teams would steal other horses' goats.
No.
So the horse
No,
starts
no,
getting
no.
worried, and he's like, "Where's the hell's my friend?"
I'm sorry. Is this true?
This is what I found.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Goat. I have never ever seen a goat get along well with a horse. Granted, I've never seen a goat with a horse.
Then how do you know? See, this is the thing. I found this whole list of strange English phrases from what I would consider to be a reputable source. But it did say, that goats are calm animals. Goats don't seem calm to me, but I've never seen a goat with a horse.
To be honest,
Maybe
goats
they're
have
like
always
peas and
seemed
carrots.
quite aggressive. If I'm honest.
Maybe that's just the humans, though. Maybe with horses, they're just like, crocodiles are quite aggressive to humans, but
Maybe with horses. Do you think it's the horses that are the what is it? What is it? The
calming.
word. Like horses have this calming effect on any creatures. They do
I'd
say
imagine.
that horses. Here's an interesting fact for people that don't know much about horses. That they can be used to comfort people with autism. Apparently.
oh, really?
Because supposedly, particularly people with autism, supposedly sometimes have this horse sense, which is like they can feel like, I don't know if connected is the right word, but they have this calming effect from the horse, and they both have this connection where they just instantly, not necessarily gel, but they just get on really well. There's just this whole calming effect. Do you think that horses have that effect on animals like crocodiles? And
I think a crocodile would try and eat a horse if
Do you
given the
think so?
chance. But then crocodiles, maybe they're just jerks.
that's a bit offensive, Michael. What if there's a crocodile listening to this?
Or if there are any crocodiles listening,
Our one listener is a crocodile,
a crocodile.
and we've just lost him.
I mean, I would just be impressed. If that is true and you are listening, I will take back that comment because you've somehow managed to use the internet. And that's just an achievement by any animal.
Well, yeah, okay, true. And if he's able to use the internet, chances are he can find us. So, okay. Here's one of my pet peeves. Pet peeves. I hate that phrase. I hate it. Why is a peeve your pet? Just no. No. Do you ever use that phrase in conversation?
No,
No. Well, I'm glad.
I don't think I do. I don't understand the point of it.
What is a peeve, and why does it have to be your pet? to
Yeah,
be
what is a
the worst
pet
peeve.
peeve?
Surely, if it's a really bad peeve that you have, you wouldn't want it as your as
like
your
a-
pet. As I'm saying it, just sounds ludicrous. So
I mean, you just call it a
why-
monster peeve.
a monster peeve.
Yeah, if it's like a really big peeve, a giant peeve,
Yes.
massive peeve. Do you know what my massive peeve is about that?
Massive monster peeve.
Yeah, well, if it's
Why
just
is it your pet? Like, you don't stroke a peeve, surely.
because that's obviously all pets are stroked, so that's the definition of a
from-
pet.
Apart from probably. No, people do stroke tarantulas.
Yeah,
Stick insects
yeah, I think you can still
pet
stroke
crocodiles.
a stick insect.
because they're jerks.
Pet crocodiles. Shout out to the crocodiles listening in.
And black widow spiders. If you have a black widow spider, you don't stroke it.
I suppose that's true. Although
Maybe that's
I
what
expect,
a pet peeve is.
Maybe. I mean, I expect most people that have black widow spiders don't know they have black widow spiders. They're just somewhere in a house.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to be searching the corners when I get in.
I did read something kind of tragic, and it was like, what if a house spider spent the last 2 weeks thinking you guys were roommates, and then you like hoover him up or something?
Oh no! You're
He's
breaking
just like-
my heart.
He's just like, dude.
What did I even do?
I thought we were roomies.
I kept my room tidy.
I kept the whole flat free of flies.
Exactly. Yeah, to be fair, I do actually allow 1 or 2 spiders in the flat.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't have flies in my flat. And
No.
I genuinely believe that that's why.
I will have a couple of spiders in the flat during summertime at least, because I have the windows open,
Yeah, yeah,
light
yeah.
bulb on, moths
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
I hate moths.
Pet peeve.
It's
Moth.
a pet peeve. It's a moth.
Did you have any other phrases that...
I do. One of my favourite phrases ever. Cold enough to freeze the balls of the brass monkey.
Oh, hold on. I know this one.
Do you?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes. Right. Factual. A brass monkey is used on ships to hold cannonballs.
Yes. I didn't say specifically on ships when I had a look, but yeah. Oh, hit the mic. It did say it was a
Yeah.
like shelf for cannonballs, and it was brass
Yeah,
monkey.
I think it was in the shape of like a pyramid. No, well, it was when you put the cannonballs on it, then looked kind of like pyramid shape.
I have no idea. I don't know about that.
Freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Freeze the balls off the brass monkey. So in the cold, the brass would contract, and the cannonballs would fall off.
Right.
So you could freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
We'd like to point out here, it's not possible for a monkey to be made out of brass, not a living creature. So we're not talking about an actual...
An inanimate monkey.
Yes, that does
I'm
not
sure
look
there
like
are
a
brass
monkey.
monkeys out
Why
there.
do you think it was called a flipping monkey? What? It doesn't climb trees. It sits there on the deck, and cannonballs sit on it. Why is it called a monkey?
I don't know. I mean, it's not as catchy to call it, oh, go and get a few cannonballs off the cannonball shelf. Go and get some ammo off the brass monkey. That's a lot more fun to say.
That's true. Maybe it was because they were bored.
I
And
mean,
they didn't
maybe
have...
it doubled up as a thermometer. Is
What?
it winter yet?
What? Just
We'll have the balls falling off the brass monkey.
no, Captain. Then no, it is not winter.
Still autumn, guys. Still autumn.
What about when people mistake a word for another word? So, a friend of mine the other day, I was watching a football match with him, and he said another chap deliberately fouled another player on the pitch, and he said, "Oh, that was a definite baby deer," and I was like, "Baby deer?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's a foul, isn't it?" I was like, "No, a baby deer is called a fawn." And he was like, "Oh," and it just irked me, that initial hearing of the phrase that it's a baby deer. No, shut up. It's a baby deer is a fawn. A fowl is like a chicken or
A guinea fowl.
guinea fowl. You know, a pheasant. A quail, I'm assuming, is a fowl.
I have no idea.
When
Baby
people,
deer.
baby deer, fawn, not a fowl. Okay. Do you cringe when people describe someone who has died as late?
No.
Really? Do you
Yeah.
understand why people say that?
I don't know the origin of the term. Obviously, I know what it means, but it doesn't
Yeah.
make me cringe at all.
Oh, I can't deal with it.
Why?
They're not late. They're not coming at all.
My late husband or late wife.
Yeah, they're not. It's like they're on their way, but they're just not there yet. It's
I
not
get where you're coming from, you know.
late.
My friend is late. You don't think my friend is dead.
Where's Rob? Rob? Oh, he's late. Oh my goodness! How did it happen?
I mean, I
No,
wouldn't call anyone on this anyway. But it's very clear. It's very easy to tell when someone says the word late, meaning dead. So I wouldn't question anyone on it.
The late great Michael Jackson. Oh, when is he arriving?
Yeah, that's
Too soon.
Yeah, I
Too soon.
I think that's not that. I wouldn't go down well.
No. Yeah, you wouldn't call someone out on it. Any other weird sayings or
Bits and bobs.
bits and bobs? Hmm.
You can have bits. You can never have just bobs.
Yeah, that's true. Pass me those bobs there.
Yeah.
No one ever says that.
Yeah.
So why do we say bits and bobs?
I don't know. I just found that one interesting. One thing that does irk me that people get wrong, the phrase, "I couldn't care less."
I couldn't care less.
I couldn't care less because people say, "I could care less."
Yes.
That really bugs me.
It bugs me as well.
I just needed to bring that up. I think I said that last time anyway.
You did. I feel like it's a sore subject for you.
It really is because I was going through this and I was like, I'm fairly sure I said that already, but I want to mention it again.
Yeah, you should probably for the next several podcasts. You
Yeah,
should mention.
at least.
I reckon.
Okay. Do you know where okay came from?
Oh, no.
Now, there are several kind of origins as to where this came from, so I don't think anyone's like 100%. The most popular and what's seemingly the most credible is that in the 1800s, when they were copying newspapers, obviously you couldn't just like scan them in and do what you do now. You had to
Why
have
not?
someone type them across. So at the end of each one, they would put AC for all correct.
Okay.
And then, much like teenagers do now, and young people now, they invent words for a laugh. Like the
Oh.
word selfie.
Oh, I don't know.
Another, I hate
I
that
do
word.
not like where this is going, but carry on.
Well, you know how selfie wasn't even a word until a few years ago?
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah.
Well, people thought it was funny to put, instead of AC for all correct, put AK, because it's all correct, spelt incorrectly. So they just did that for a laugh. And then they took it another step further and put OK for all correct.
Oh,
So
no.
on all the newspapers it would say OK for all
Oh,
correct.
no.
And apparently it just spread and people thought it was hilarious. So that's where OK comes from.
Really?
There's
Is
that. There's
that's
another one that says it was translated from a French word. Another one that says it was originally kind of slang used by African American slaves in America. And it just kind of was a different word they used for yes or correct or whatever.
Yeah.
But the most popular result when I was having a look through was the newspapers.
That do you know what? That annoys me so much. When someone at one point in history has spelt a word incorrectly, and then someone looks at that and goes, "Oh, that must be right," and then eventually everyone seems to believe that that is actually the real, either the real spelling or the real meaning of a word.
I don't think that's what they did though. They knew it was wrong, and
Right,
were laughing
yeah.
at the irony.
So it's actually worse.
So they were deliberately choosing. They knew it was wrong, but it was funny because that was the mark of it being right.
Did
So
they
the
know
mark
that
of it
one
being
day?
right is wrong.
That, my goodness. Did they know that one day it would irk Zack and Michael?
I don't know.
I bet they knew. I bet they knew, and they did it anyway.
They could well have done.
Okay.
Getting down to the nitty gritty.
Speaking of down, what about suits me down to the ground? What? Where does it come from? Suits me down to the ground. Where? What does suits me come from?
I don't. It suits me.
It suits me. Suits you, sir. Does it mean it fits like a suit? It suits you. What?
Or you can be suited, can't you? As in, I'm suited and booted. So if something suits you, it looks good on you because you are suited in it. You can
I
also be
thought
suited
that meant
to
you were
something.
just wearing a suit.
Suited. You can also suit up
You can.
if you are a
Iron Man.
superhero.
Yes.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'll do.
Put on the suit. Yeah. Well, even if it does mean that, down to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it means
Suits
just
me
another
down
way of
to the
saying head to
ground.
toe.
It could be. I mean, has anyone ever looked at this? I think it's our duty to question these things. Because no one seemed to question them. Suits me down to the
Suits me
ground.
down to the ground.
No. No.
just no.
No.
I have
Just
ruled
no.
this sentence out.
In the
It
English
is no
language.
longer acceptable.
No, it's not. Speaking of no longer acceptable, do you know what I hate? Do you know what irks me? Do you know what really grates my cheese?
What grates your cheese?
It's when people think they're like gangsters on the streets of London, and they use words like, and I have a list:
Oh dear.
girl dem, clapped,
Never heard of it.
clapped,
Heard of it?
peng.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's the worst. Ting,
Yep.
roadman,
Yeah.
which surely is someone who builds roads.
Or it's the superhero Roadman.
The superhero who builds roads faster than any other roadman.
Roadman, we need you. Or he's just a really good navigator. Roadman.
And the other one is there's more, but also waste man,
Wasteman.
which
yeah.
presumably is not a waste of space person, but is someone who works in the waste collection industry. The words like that, people think they're gangsters. Why would they even want to be gangsters?
I mean, it's slang, isn't it?
Yes.
There was a guy at work, and he says all of those words routinely.
Oh.
And we found a video that just suits him. There's this comedian that does this whole song, and it's like rap explained, or like slang explained in a rap song. And he was brilliant. I think his name's Doc Brown. And he does this whole bit, and it's like, yeah, blood, wagwan. Hello, friend, how are you? And he does like a translation of everything.
Oh, brilliant.
It was a minor ting. It wasn't very hard. Like, it just...
Ting. Yeah, but I'm talking about ting in this sense, referring to a girl.
Yeah.
A ting. A girl is a
ting.
ting. No. If ting comes from the word thing, then using that word to describe a girl is disrespectful.
I sparked him in the grill, and then I bounced in a whip.
What?
I hit him in the mouth, and then I fled in my car.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Honestly,
It just there's this whole generation of this language that's coming out.
I guess that's how language changes over time, though. How many of the words we use every day originally were slang?
I dread to think.
You know, someone someone in the 1920s might listen to us and be like, "Oh, I hate how young people speak."
We might think the same about them. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, like old English words like mayhap. Do you think you haven't heard that? Mayhap.
No.
Mayhap you would come with me to the dance, fair maiden. Mayhap.
No.
Okay. Do you think words like that, or perchance,
Perchance.
yeah, words like that, do you think that was actually slang at first, and we look back and think, wow, that's really old English? Do you think that in 100 years' time, people will look back and think, remember when everyone used to just say clapped?
Remember when everyone used to say selfie?
And I don't think that will ever die.
I might not actually. Yeah, maybe. You might be onto something. Like, oh, do you remember? It must have been so weird when people spoke Old English, which is just English now.
Yeah, that makes me sad. That makes me really sad. One day we'll be relics. Do you have any other weird sayings?
Yeah, I was thinking of one. I just lost it a minute ago.
Okay. Well, while you're rooting around in the cushions of the sofa for that one, someone suggested to me today, when someone says it's just around the corner, and you're walking somewhere, and they say, oh, it's just around the corner, but you turn so many corners to get there. It's not just around the corner. Or they say, oh, it's just 5 minutes away. But you end up spending the next 15 minutes wondering when you're ever going to get there.
Or when someone tells you that you may as well go to this place because it's just as quick to get home from there as from where you are currently. And then you go to that place
Yeah.
and then have to go home and find it takes like 3 times as long. That's annoying, isn't
Yes.
it, Zach?
Wait, what?
Remember?
No.
We're at the pub. You said, hey, come back to mine. It's just as quick to get home from my house as it is from the pub. And I thought, you know what? I've never been to Zach's before. I will trust him on this. He seems like a reasonably geographical aware kind of guy. It took me 1 hour and 15 minutes to get home from there, Zach. The pub was only half an hour away.
I have sort of erased that from my memory.
You and Tom, you're like, yeah, it's 5 minutes. We were walking for so long. Every step
5 minutes?
taking me
I
further
really say
away from my cozy
Oh.
little flat.
I apologize. for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not called being a good friend, is it?
I was just like, are you guys sure? Like, yeah, of course it is. No.
Another funny phrase is to get the wrong end of the stick.
Yes.
To get the wrong... What is on this end of the stick that is so wrong about it?
I mean, could it have something to do with spears? You got the wrong end of the stick.
Ooh.
Someone stabbed you with a spear.
Wow, escalated quickly.
I mean, it's the wrong end of the stick.
Wow. Well, I said... Well, possibly. I mean, I just sort of try to look it up. I couldn't find the origin of it. So if anyone does know the origin of to get the wrong end of the stick, please post it in the comments after subscribing and liking as standard.
That's quite demanding.
Is it demanding or is it just common sense?
Well, I'm really excited with the amount of views and subscribers we had in a week.
Yes. Was it 3 views?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
153 views.
153 views,
Yeah,
and
so
we've been so excited, honestly, about every single one and every subscriber and like. So please keep it coming. It's a lot of fun, and we love making these podcasts. So to have an actual response from it, whatever form that takes, is great.
It's such a bonus. We
It
get
is.
people coming up to us in the street asking for our autographs. Have you,
Yeah, right.
have you not had that? You
No,
haven't had
no,
that?
strangely, no.
No, well, you'll never know if I have because I'm just going to say that I have and you'll never know if it's true.
Fair enough. On
What
a
about...
semi-serious note,
Uh-oh.
those who have sent in like constructive feedback and who have liked and subscribed, really thank you. Please do
Very much
keep it coming.
appreciate. Yeah.
Just because that's all the feedback we get is how we make this better.
Yeah. The podcast improves because of you, our listener.
Our listener, the collective.
The flipping jerk crocodile, apparently. Okay, what about the phrase "to blow your socks off"? Now, if someone says to me, "Hey, try this curry or try this beer, it will blow your socks off." Well, especially if it's a cold day, don't really want my socks to get blown off.
Yeah.
I want to keep them on.
Is
Why
there a
is
difference?
having your socks blown off a good thing?
I don't know. Is there a difference between blowing someone's socks off or knocking their socks off?
I'd say it's probably the same, but it's still just both wrong.
I mean,
I never sit
Strong.
at home and think, do you know what? I feel like doing something really exciting. I want to get my socks blown off or knocked off. No, that's just not how I do things to get excitement and entertainment. So why do we say it? We say things like that all the time.
I say things like, it does my head in.
Well, I think
Is that
that
just short for injury? Does my head injury? Does my head in?
You're giving me a head in.
You're giving me a head in.
I've got
I
such
got
a head
a really
in.
bad head in the other day. Maybe it's someone who got a concussion one day and they're trying to say the word injury, but they only could come out with the word in.
And now suddenly everyone says it.
I did my head in.
What about over the moon? So
Yeah, that's similar to jumping for joy.
I suppose it could lead on from that. If you were so joyful that when you jumped, you actually surpassed the orbit of the moon and went around the dark side of it and came back, then I guess the phrase "over the moon" would be relevant. I don't think anyone's done that though. I could be wrong.
Was the cow who jumped over the moon incredibly happy?
You have to assume so.
I mean, I think I would be.
Why
Over
else?
the moon.
Why else would it? Why else would it jump?
Over the moon. That's weird.
Yeah. What about under the weather? So, why do we have to describe when we feel ill? Why do we have to describe it as ourselves as being under the weather? Now, whether or not it is bad or good is weather.
Yes.
If that made sense at all.
Yes.
Sunshine, sunny skies,
Lollipops,
that's-
rainbows.
everything. That's blah 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 blah. Sunshine is weather. Rain clouds, that's weather. Rainbows, which we talked about extensively last time, that's weather. And hail is weather. A nice summer breeze is weather.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So just say,
No,
I'm a
it
bit
doesn't.
under the weather. I mean, next time someone says that to me, I'm going to say, "Oh, well done, you."
Although, could it just simply come from, in the sun, you do want to get out of the heat at some point. In the rain, you want to get out of the rain.
Okay.
If you are under the weather, you are not under a shelter.
Right, you're out in the thick of it, and you just
You
want
are
it
out
to
in the
end.
elements.
Okay.
So I wonder if that's where it comes from. I do get what you mean though, because on a sunny day,
There-
everyone
it's-
wants to be
it's
under the weather.
Possible that it's possible that that's what it means. It's possible. And did you have any other?
Yeah. Gordon Bennett.
Lovely chap.
Yeah. Why do we say that? I mean, popularised by Del Boy.
Yes. Yeah. Go bang.
Exactly. Do you know where that came from?
I have a feeling it's to do with a chap, something about an aeroplane, and he fell out of an aeroplane or something. Is this
He may
completely
well
wrong?
have done. He may well have done. I mean, he sounds like a scoundrel.
Oh, okay.
Gordon Bennett was this chap he inherited a newspaper from his dad, and he was absolutely wild. He threw crazy parties. He got all sorts of insane antics, to the point where he actually fled to Europe from America to escape a whole scandal that was going on.
Wow.
And so, instead of, oh my goodness or whatever, they started to say Gordon Bennett.
Gordon Bennett.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Something crazy happened. Oh, Gordon Bennett.
Here's a phrase that I do like, and this gets my approval. It's the phrase, "That is a piece of cake." Or, "That was a piece of cake." Or, "Hey, just do that for me. It'll be a piece of cake." I like that phrase because, first of all, I like cake. Second of all, cake I think is quite easy. So it's a good analogy for a task that is easy. I know this is an irked podcast. I know it is. But I think now and again, maybe we should mention something that makes us a little happy. Like,
shouldn't it be that is easy as cake?
Well, then it wouldn't be a metaphor. It would just be true.
Yes, it would.
Well, would it? It would.
You still have to think of cake as being easy.
I'm thinking of hyperbole.
Ah.
Yeah, it would be a metaphor, but it wouldn't be hyperbole. No. Difference between metaphor and hyperbole being that hyperbole is where you say something is something, as if it's something literal. Whereas a metaphor, you can say something is like something.
Is that the only difference between a metaphor and hyperbole?
Sure,
I thought hyperbole was...
And how it's spelled.
I thought it was exaggerated to ridiculous amounts.
Not necessarily.
That word had 1,000,000 letters in it. That's hyperbole.
Oh my goodness, that's a long word. Oh, that was hyperbole. I thought that was a metaphor and it was true. That's a lie. But yeah, hyperbole. Anyway, piece of cake. That's hyperbole. Cake.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to mow the lawn and it's going to be a piece of cake. Because it's not literally a piece of cake.
Oh, yeah. No,
you're not mowing a piece of cake.
It's the exaggeration there.
If I had a piece of cake on my lawn, I would probably...
It'd be a piece of cake. If you lived on a piece of cake.
If what?
If you lived on a giant piece of cake, mowing the lawn would be a piece of cake.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Prove me wrong.
I can't. Yeah, I'm going to make an enormous Victoria sponge, build a house on it, and then mow the lawn, and you'll cry because I will have seeded the Victoria sponge, and it will be real grass, and you'll say, "Well, look at that. It wasn't hyperbole after all."
So you have to have dirt on your sponge in order to seed the grass.
No one likes a dirty sponge. What?
I like the term spick and span.
Where does that come from?
No idea. Absolutely none. Couldn't find it.
Spick? Really?
No.
You had no idea on the origins. Spick and span, where something's really shiny clean.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that table spick and span.
Exactly.
Can you not? I'm about to play chess on it. I don't need it spicking and spanning all over the place while I'm playing.
Nothing's ever spick or span. Yeah, spick and span is perfectly acceptable to say.
I have never described anything as being spick. What is that? I've never thought of that before. It's such a bizarre phrase.
That chest of drawers is span. But it's not as spick as that bookshelf. Together they are spick and span.
Wow. A detective duo. Don't know where I got the idea for that. What about the phrase, it costs an arm and a leg?
I wonder, did at any point in human history people pay for things with arms and legs? You know what? Victorian surgeons used to pay for dead bodies so that they could then perform autopsies and learn more about the human body. So maybe that comes from people selling them arms and legs, and the equivalent amount of money would buy them something, say a loaf of bread or something, so that loaf of bread cost an arm and a leg. Even if that's not the way it came about, I want it to be.
I want it to be as well. That's a good story. I like it. I'm gonna make it true. I'm gonna put it in Wikipedia, and everyone will believe me.
Yes.
True. You can make it sound. You can make anything sound believable if you want
I
to.
mean, that's all the research I've done was Wikipedia, so.
Oh, that explains it.
I did say that earlier. just saying, guys. Yeah.
I'm not saying Wikipedia is a bad thing.
No, me neither, not at all. Just saying it's not 100% accurate.
What does it mean to steal someone's thunder?
Well, I know what it means. I don't know why it means that.
No, yeah,
Is that
that is the question I probably should have asked. Yeah, because I mean, what thunder? If anything, you'd be stealing their lightning, because thunder is just like a low rumble. You know, when someone's doing really well, they're not exactly rumbling in a low way, are they? If they're this flash
You
bright
stole
light.
my low rumble.
Hey, don't steal my low rumble. Why? It's not like you were using it for anything. It's just a low rumble. But if it's lightning, that's like, whoa, hey, wow.
Well, that was like air pressure being released, because in a storm there are pockets of air pressure
Like
and
thunder.
then, yeah, and then they kind of collapse in on themselves, and
Is that what it is?
yeah,
That is fascinating.
and I
I
think
love
they
science.
expand. I think they expand, and then it's like the rushing sound as it goes up.
Like that.
That was the worst thunder sound ever.
Which is why you wouldn't want to steal it.
That's true.
But you would want to steal someone's lightning, because look at it. That's flipping awesome.
Yeah.
It lights up the sky.
Yeah.
Why don't we say that? Steal someone's lightning.
Stole someone's lightning.
Yeah, but I do understand the phrase to rain on someone's parade.
Yes.
Because,
That makes sense.
yeah, if you had a parade and you were going through the city, you're having a good time, you got your lightning flashing, you don't want the rain clouds to come out and just rain on you.
True.
Although, when the rain is coming from a person, it does make me wonder how exactly they're... Did you have any other...
So I didn't
Weird
have
sayings
any, like, already thought of, but
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground.
I think we have. I think we've done well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's much more work to be done. Leave in the comments weird sayings we haven't brought up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Argue
sure...
about them.
Yeah.
Come up with improbable origins for these phrases.
Yeah, maybe even make up some suggested phrases
You know,
that we should be using in day to day.
say something that really takes the biscuit.
Takes the biscuit. Oh. Okay.
Eh? Makes zero sense. Taking the biscuit.
Do you think it makes zero sense? Because if I had a biscuit and
And I
someone
took it.
flipping, you took my biscuit, I'd be really annoyed at you.
Yeah, but is that... I mean, that takes the biscuit. Someone could have done a whole range of awful things, but one tiny little thing pushed it over the edge, and that was the bit
That
just
really-
took the biscuit.
When he burnt my house down, that was horrible. That was pretty bad, you
But
know.
then he threw a spider at me, and that took the biscuit.
I suppose it depends on what kind of biscuit it is.
I don't know. I mean, if it's like a chocolate hobnob.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I'm not a fan because I always,
Oh.
every time I eat a hobnob, I choke on the oats.
Well, just chew.
It just go, they're like, they just get stuck in my throat.
Just
Fancy
chew
a
the
hobnob, Zach?
biscuit.
Oh, a hobnob. I think I like those.
A
I'm not
hognob?
Sure. Hobnob. What did I say?
You said a hognob.
Yeah, one of those.
It's a biscuit for pigs. A hognob.
I don't think that's quite what it is, but
No.
anyway,
Moving swiftly on.
swifter than Usain Bolt on a fast treadmill. Yeah, hobnobs. They do. I try and eat them.
Usain Bolt on a treadmill wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh, I
Usain
feel like
Bolt
I feel
on a
like I'm not
fast
quite getting the
treadmill.
concept. I feel like I'm not quite getting the concept of a treadmill. Look, I don't go to the gym a lot. Why should I know how a
you do
treadmill?
spend quite a lot of time on a treadmill, though.
Hey now, that is an inside joke. That is an inside joke, and you know it. And I do not want people asking why it's an inside joke on the comments.
You could have
Banned.
just left it.
Banned.
Okay.
I'm just making it clear.
I just
no,
had to say
not
that.
allowed. No. Flipping heck. Do you know what?
Oh.
That really takes the biscuit.
Ah, right. On that note, I think it's time to end this week.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
you
it is.
guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Please join us again next week. We'll have a whole nother subject to get irked about. Please leave feedback, likes, subscriptions. Just whack it all in there.
Chuck
We
them
appreciate
all at
it
us.
so
We can
much.
handle it. We can handle it. And you've been listening to Zach.
And Michael,
Thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week.
goodbye.